Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to album ReDADS. You are at a live taping. Welcome to Empirical Brewing. We're so happy that they had us. I want to remind you to have a good old time. Cheers.
Drinking this album, listen to the brews. I think it would pair well, if only for you, 'cause it's album ReBrews. It's album ReBrews. It's album ReBrews. It's album ReBrews.
Sarah fell asleep already in the most dadly fashion.
I wasn't sleeping. I was just resting my eyes. Hi, my name is Sarah. Welcome back to Album ReBrews, the stickiest music podcast.
It smells like Updog in here.
What's up, dog?
No, not much, guys. My name's Zach. I'm your second co-host.
Speaking of dogs, I don't mean to start as a downer here, but I got some bad news from my vet. I took my dog in over the last week here. He's been moving pretty slow. He's getting up there in years, and I said, Doc, what do you think is going on? He's like, oh, I got bad news for you. He's got arthritis. I'm Dillon.
Thanks, Dillon.
We have sound effects now.
We have sound effects.
We're going to be
effects.
obnoxious.
We're so annoying. Also, this is a family show now because I can do this. What the Shit, cock, wiener, butt crack. Can't say butt crack on a family show.
Thank you so much for joining us. Like Cameron said, this is album ReDADS here at Empirical Brewing up in Ravenswood/Andersonville. It's like kissing that border so gently. Boy, do we have a hell of a show and a hell of a trio of beer pairings and a hell of a guest co-host back in the seat, Dillon Danger Daniels.
It's me. I'm the hell of the show.
Give him hell, Dillon.
He's our ringer. We bring him in. Yeah.
Zach, why don't you give the folks a lowdown about what we're going to do up here today?
Yes, we have each, the three of us, called our own fathers and asked them, and we had to explain to them what a podcast was first, but we asked them what their favorite dad rock album was, and then we're going to battle our three favorite dad rock albums. And at the end, you guys are going to decide which is the dadliest. So pay attention. We're also going to play a game in between each. Actually, we're going to start with the game. We're going to start with Dillon's game.
That is incorrect.
That's a lie. We're going to start with Sarah's game.
Jesus Christ, Zach. How are we going to build credibility?
Zach's going to start with a negative 1 point on this game.
Well, you guys are
I
lucky
say.
because my game doesn't require points. We're just going to settle in, do a little bit of yes-anding, and how many people out there, can I get a show of hands, are familiar with Mad Libs as a chat? There we go. That's a lot of hands. Amazing. So we're going to do what I like to call Dad Libs, where I have an online Mad Libs generator. And I'm going to have Dillon and Zach help me out with some people, places, and things. They are not going to know what we are creating up here while we do this. And at the end, we're going to read the little story we come up with.
Do they have to be dad, people, places, or things? Or is the story dadly and we're filling in?
The game is called Dad Libs. It should
Okay.
be as fatherly as possible.
I'm sweating in my jorts already.
Let's do it. To start off, Dillon and Zach, can you please give me a dadly a dadjective?
Zach,
Is it what we come up with one together or one each?
Either way, just
Zach, you start.
get me
A
something.
dadjective. Bald?
Sure. Can I get a verb ending in ed?
Yawned.
What about a plural noun?
Sandals.
Sure. What about a liquid?
Oh, liquid. Oh, no. Oh, I can't say the first one.
Okay, be honest with me. Was it piss?
No. No.
Oh.
Sorry, Grandma. Oil.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now a plural noun. I'm sure this is riveting audio content.
You can have multiple lawnmowers, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah. Most dads do.
One for the front yard, one for
Yeah,
the
a
back
push
yard.
and a ride. Yeah.
Perfect. Now give me a famous person. Maybe a famous dad.
Vin Diesel.
Perfect.
And the pacifier, right?
Family.
That's a dadly movie.
What about a dadly place?
The man cave.
Oh, yeah. That sounds great. A fatherly occupation, perhaps?
My ride is here. Longshoreman. And like the Gordon's fisherman, that's a longshoreman.
Okay.
What does that person do?
And they fish. They're a man of the water.
Okay. I'd do it.
A noun. A singular noun.
A single noun. Is football a noun?
Absolutely,
Okay.
football is a noun. A nationality. A dadtionality.
It's your turn.
Yeah, sure. Sure, let's go for it. The crowd says American. They're taking the pressure off me. I'm going to go with the
As
crowd.
American as football and Vin Diesel. Yeah. Let's keep going. We got a couple left. A female celebrity.
A dadly female celebrity.
Yes. Anyone from the audience?
Anyone from the audience?
Vanna White. I love Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, that does feel dadly. You're right.
That feels
Thank you.
very dadly.
Shout out, Becca.
Spin that wheel, baby.
It is 6:30.
Yeah,
Ready to fall
it is.
asleep in my lazy boy. Give me a fatherly noun.
Fatherly noun. Strong.
Strong. Is that it? That's an
Oh, shit.
adjective.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got grammar bitches
Yeah.
in the audience.
Sorry.
Let's go.
Fatherly noun. Jorts.
Nice.
Well done.
Oh, a female friend. We have several folks in the audience. Let's pick a friend. Let's pick a friend. Let's pick a female friend. Who y'all want to pick? I see
Should we pick
Dave in the back. All right, our female friend, Dave.
Yeah.
3 left. We need a plural noun.
What do you when you turn the hot dog? What is this? Tongue.
Tongs.
Because there's two of them. You got to clip them together.
You're
Can't have a
right.
singular tongue.
Give me a number.
A number.
Dadly number.
A number.
Well, there's like 2 funny numbers.
There are two funny numbers.
There's 2 funny numbers.
And only 2. Unless we pick an angel number.
An angel number.
Oh.
I'm hearing a lot of sinful answers from the crowd.
Sinful suggestions.
The least dadly answer.
I think the most deadly is 69.
All right.
I mean, it take you.
Nice.
All right.
Last but
Nice.
not
All right.
least, give us a dadjective.
I already said bald.
And you can't describe a dad any other way.
I did mess up. I did mess up on my 1 stout and a sip of this cream ale. Adjective answer of strong. So can we just kind of postpone that to this answer?
I think that sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, we could do strong now. Yeah.
Folks, we've done it.
Well done.
Now, I'm going to need a volunteer to come and read this. What we've actually been creating, Emily, get on up here. We've actually been creating a personal ad for a single father.
Oh no.
So, Emily, in your best dad voice, can you please read what's on the screen?
No, I actually came up here to talk to you all about One Direction tonight.
Oh my God!
Oh
Saboteur!
no! It's a protest.
All right, I'm whipping out the teacher voice for you guys. All right. I enjoy long, bald walks on the beach, getting yawned in the rain, and serendipitous encounters with sandals. I really like pina coladas mixed with oil and romantic candlelit lawnmowers. I am well read from Dr. Seuss to Vin Diesel. I travel frequently, especially to Man Cave, when I am not busy with work. I am a longshoreman. I am looking for football and beauty in the form of an American goddess.
Oh no.
She should have the physique of Vanna White and the jorts of Dave. I would prefer if she knew how to cook, clean, and wash my tongs. I know I'm not very attractive in my picture, but it was taken 69 days ago.
Nice.
And I have since become more strong.
I would date this man.
I would swipe right on this.
Thank you so much for playing Dadlibs, and thank you all so much for your participation.
Yeah, thank you, Emily.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Emily.
Dad read.
Let's get into our
Oh no, wrong one.
there we go.
Yeah.
Let's get into our first Dadly album.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I'm up first. So my dad, Kurt, picked the Cars' first album, the Cars' self-titled album, The Cars, featuring Song of the Summer, The Cars.
This is the one with Lightning McQueen, right?
Yeah, this is the one with Lightning McQueen, Tow Mater, Doc Hudson, all those guys. You know,
Okay,
he pissed in his cup.
And the sexy Dynaco car, right?
Yeah, that was weird that it did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad picked it. I actually have a testimonial from my dad when I messaged him for this episode. Let me get that pulled up here. My dad said, I'm reading the text here, just came to mind was actually cleaning out the car, but I also think it was such a great album for in group's first effort, really talented musicians in that group. Also, first time I remember hearing electronic drums. The keyboard player was probably underrated too. Saw them on Fridays, kind of a knockoff Saturday Night Live. Kramer was on there.
That's a great testimony.
So I'm not sure about the testimony of Fridays with the standout being Michael Richards. So so my dad, I think my dad picked it because I did the math on that. He would have been. The album was released in '78, so he would have been 15, I think, when it was released.
Oh, wow.
And probably closer to 18 when it kind of like hit the top of the charts.
Mm-hmm.
My initial reaction to it was kind of surprised. Like I would have picked him for maybe like Dwight Yoakam or something in like more of the country realm. But it makes pretty good sense for my dad. I think it's a pretty representative pick of my dad. And then for our pairing here, I picked the Cold Fusion. Something I associate with new wave music is science fiction, kind of. I feel like new wave was kind of a birth of kind of an aftermath of punk, like the rise of punk and kind of an alternative genre. So it was something for people who didn't really have a clique or a place to go to experience like their own faction of music. So I feel like science fiction kind of plays into that crowd as well. So Cold Fusion is like about the most sciencey pairing I could go with that wasn't already taken.
Come on,
There are
science.
several sciencey pairings at
Yeah.
this brewery.
Cold Fusion is something that's almost impossible. So
I don't actually
there we
know the
go.
science behind it. Will you explain?
yeah, it's so we. All right, bear with me.
Sciencey, stickiest music
When we
podcast.
have nuclear reactions, we have fission, we have fusion. So we have splitting the atom and fusing atoms together, which is something that's very hard to do, almost impossible. So fission is pretty easy. That's most nuclear reactions that we know of are occurring during fission, and then fusion is something that we haven't quite achieved.
Hold on, Sarah fell asleep again.
Okay. Yeah, you brought a nerd on the podcast.
Let's try it. Let's try it on
All
air.
right, let's take a sip.
I've already sipped it.
Yeah, that tastes like a synthesizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh.
It's very crisp, refreshing, kind of clean.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was a little put off in hearing that it was a cream ale because I am lactose intolerant.
No, they don't put any.
Well,
no
I
milk.
learned that when it was poured, and I was like, oh, wait, that's just beer.
I know, like, there's a milk stout, but just like a milky beer makes me nauseous.
Yeah. Milk and alcohol.
Yum.
They milk the hops. All right. So why do I think it's the most dadly album? Friends, countrymen, what makes a dad? Some would say children. I would argue that it's experience. So kind of the narrative of this album is kind of this self-aware reflection of like just the self, the songwriter. So the first track that I pulled up, we're going with the title track here, which I'm totally blanking on.
Times Roll.
Good Times Roll. So reading a little blurb about how the song came out, it was kind of like an ironic reflection of like everything up to the this album's creation, its formation by the band. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment of, yeah, let everyone else do their thing, let them have their fun, let all the punks and the hard rockers do their thing, let Steely Dan make an album the same year.
And play the same night as our podcast
Yeah,
recording.
and play Not a Stone's
could be
Throw
at
Away.
Steely Dan right now.
Yeah, you could be
Thanks
seeing
for
Donald
coming
Fagen
here.
do his
Steely
thing.
Dan is literally in Illinois right now.
We'll get
there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. But it's kind of at surface level, you're like, yeah, let the good times roll. Let's grip it and rip it. But it's actually like, yeah, go do your own thing. I'm gonna be okay over here. So let's listen to a little bit of the intro there.
So deadly.
Let the good times roll. Let them inoculate ground. Let the good times roll.
I do want to drive a Corvette to this.
Make you a clown.
All right. Speaking of clowns, my father. All right, I had to. So going back to my dad's point about the synthesizers, we kind of hear like this kind of 808 tom right at the beginning there, kind of setting the tone for the whole album, incorporating electronic music with it, and its own acoustic counterpart. There's a couple fills on the album that are really interesting because they kind of interlace acoustic drums and electronic drum. It's almost seamless. Like you wouldn't compare the two in the same realm. You'd think that's just one kit, which is really cool as a percussionist myself, kind of incorporating the two there.
It's a really hip dad album.
Yeah, it is really hip.
Like a lot of electronic stuff I wasn't expecting in a
Yeah.
dad pick.
So that's kind of the comments I had on this one. There's a throwaway line, what was perceived as a throwaway line on this. It's let them brush their rock and roll hair. And someone's like, oh, I just needed a rhyme. And he thought of hair to rhyme with there or some such. And he, Rick Ocasek, the songwriter on this track, there's two vocalists for the Cars, Rick Ocasek and Ben Orr. And he was saying that, no, this is like an actual like reference to like the hard rockers, like your New York Dolls and what have you that were coming up at the time. So I thought that was pretty funny. Just like, yeah, go.
So is it a
screw
diss
yourself.
track?
Yeah, it's kind of a diss track, really.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So my next track here. So I was kind of listening to this not as a drummer, but more of a guitar player. Like, there's a lot of guitar-driven songs on this, and Best Friend's Girl strikes me really, really strange because first of all, just as a narrative point, he's pining over a former lover that's dating his best friend, and you're like, he starts off and he's like, oh, there's this girl I really like, and you're like, oh, bud, I feel for you. And then he's like, oh, and yeah, she's dating my best friend as a kicker, and you're like, oh, bud. What a bummer. But there's this guitar riff that I want to listen to because it struck me as like something like Chet Atkins would play. It sounds like a country riff to me, and I thought it was really interesting. Just like one style of playing can be like taken in different ways based on the context of the music. So let's listen to that riff here. It's very plucky. It's very twangy. And I bet if you were like Travis picking it, it would play like a country tune. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is. It's really out of the wheelhouse for this album.
Yeah. So going back to my theme of experience, we have like the self-reflection, like the self-assurance of good times roll, and then you have like a weaker moment here. You have this like, oh man, I kind of blew it. Like I still really like this person, but there's a couple of lines here, like that nuclear boots and your drip dry gloves. It's like, is that a slight? Is that like saying, hey, you weren't that great. But like, it's kind of got that duality of like, hey, I really miss this person. Like, there's these things of them that I admire, but then you're like, but it wasn't that great. Maybe I'm better off. So just having that like, that mixed emotion, just that life experience there.
Yeah. Did either of you instantly think of Jesse's Girl when you heard this song?
Yes, I did.
Only immediately.
Oh yeah. I'm like, this is just Jesse's Girl, but like,
Which is
close enough so they know they're not cheating.
Which is funny.
Darius
Rucker.
Go back to our last live.
Real fans know.
I think that my mom would have picked a Rick Springfield album if we would have
there
done
you go.
Mother's Day episode.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Moving in Stereo is the last one I'm going to talk about.
So this one, I like to do a Rick Ocasek impression, or is it Ben Orr on this one? I think it's Rick Ocasek on this one. Just the vocal effects that he does. He has a really interesting vocal quality too. It's kind of like in the back of his throat a little bit and like nasally. It seems like you're moving in stereo, like almost.
It's like Bob Dylan.
Yeah, almost like almost Bob Dylan, but Bob Dylan's got
It's a little twangy,
a little bit of the gruff in him now. Yeah,
You want to hear it?
yeah. Let's hear it.
Like she say, I'm moving in stereo. Like she say, except for my shoes. Like she say, you're shaking like tremolo. Like she say, it's all inside.
And I think the production on it is really interesting because like they're doing those things that they're alluding to right within the song. Like on the word stereo, there's a pan from left to right, and it sticks in the right on the right channel until that tremolo, and then he puts tremolo on a vocal delivery of tremolo, and then it goes back in stereo for it. So it's really interesting, and the synthesizer, that kind of like sweeping motion is going back and forth too. So that's a really interesting kind of production style on this kind of like very obvious, but like that's the intent, is like using those words to draw your attention to the techniques they're using.
Yeah, it's a little meta. He's talking
Yeah.
about stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being self-aware is the best kind of music to me.
Yeah. So why is this the dadliest pick?
Why is it the dadliest pick? I think because you need to. There's a lot of like just pouring out of like personal experience on this album, and I think approaching 30 myself.
Hold on, I'm going to lay down.
In your old age.
I feel like you have a lot of experiences once you leave that nest, and I think that's about the age of these gentlemen when they were producing this album. You have a lot of life experiences when you're moving into adulthood and like moving into like having a stable family unit yourself.
Sure.
That like make you stop and think about like how you conduct yourself, like within not only like your own social circle, but like as a person at large. And I think this album is very self-aware and self-conscious of like their own actions, and kind of like it is pretty self-reflective. You've got Bye Bye Love. You've got Best Friend's Girl.
Jesse's Girl?
Yeah, I almost said Jesse's Girl. That's why I was flubbing. You've got those two that are a little self-reflective, and I think it's good to like stop and reflect and say, how would I have handled this situation given like a second chance? So I feel like it's that's something I find myself doing, and I'm pretty sure my dad has had moments like that as well. Just like,
Oh, sure.
yeah, thinking about like what would have been my like different branch of my life had I done X, Y, and Z, you know?
Yeah.
I would say also, to give you some flowers, this isn't my album, but an interesting little tidbit I found. I feel like a lot of dads get into like expensive hobbies.
Yeah.
Where they turn, however old, and they're like, oh, I'm going to start making wine in my bathtub. It's like, Rick, doesn't that cost $2,000 to start? Yeah. Who cares? I'm retired. Something interesting about like the musicality on this album when I was researching was they the Cars just kind of used a ton of like super new synths and hardware and stuff. They would just like go into music stores and just buy whatever was the newest thing, even if it was going to be obsolete in like 2 years.
That's very dadly.
That's very dadly to frivolously spend your money.
Just going to the
hobby.
local place. Yeah.
Well, cool. Is there anything else we want to say about this before we move on to another game?
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
All right, we are moving on to game 2. Do you guys recall from show 1, I wanted to bring a game called Steely Danny DeVito?
Oh, no.
But instead, we played a game called Me, Metallica, or Matilda.
Which also had Danny DeVito.
Which also was
had
very
Danny
heavily Danny DeVito. Well, I have good news for you guys, because today I have brought Steely Danny DeVito.
And he's coming out to the stage. Welcome.
But I have added a dad twist. So the name of the game is Steely Daddy DeVito.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, indeed.
And so the way it works is I'm going to play a sound. The sound is either Steely Dan, Danny DeVito, or a dad noise.
Do we get points based on time?
What does time mean?
Like, if we guess it?
What
like,
a metaphysical fucking
I
question.
am
What does
competitive.
time mean? Hey.
No, it's just like a 2-second clip.
Okay.
So you guys will be against each other. You guys will also have hotlines a la Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can get a 50-50 guess, ask the audience, so audience members pay attention, or the dad version of phone a friend, you can phone your dad, and I have their dad's number on speed dial.
This is true.
Okay. So who would like to go first?
I'm down.
Okay. This is your sound, Sarah.
Is it?
It's either Steely Dan, Danny DeVito, or a dad noise. And you have to guess.
Can I get it one more time?
You have 3 hotlines.
Come on.
Do you want to ask the audience?
I'd like to ask the audience.
All right, audience, on the count of 3, shout what you think it is. 1, 2, 3.
Golf ball is an excellent answer. I was going to say like a weird fart into a lazy boy. Sorry.
Is golf ball your final answer?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That is a fish flopping on the deck.
So it's a dad noise.
It's a dad noise.
I'll take it.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, Dillon, are you ready for your Steely Daddy DeVito noise?
Yeah, let's go.
Would you like to hear it again?
I think that's Danny DeVito.
Oh, it's Dillon's turn. You guys aren't on a team.
I know, I'm just talking.
you're just throwing them off.
I just have a microphone.
hear it again?
in front
Yeah,
of
let's
me.
get a replay. Okay, it's a dad noise. More specifically, is that chopping wood?
Is that your final answer?
Are you...
I'm trying to do it like that. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Doesn't he ask that?
Yeah. I was trying to think of
Totally
another host
affirmative.
besides Regis Philbin, and I couldn't. I couldn't for the life of me.
Yeah.
Final answer, Regis.
That is Playing Catch. Thank you, freesounds.org. I did not donate when they asked.
I was
Man.
just
Not-
going to
yeah.
ask.
Man.
Is it freesounds.org?
All right, Sarah, are you ready for yours?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds like it's from a movie
Would you like
that Danny DeVito is in.
Those are one of your 3 options.
I'm going to lock it in. I think it's a movie that Danny DeVito...
Can you name the movie?
Can we hear it again? Oh. Whoa.
These buttons are really close together.
I mean, it sounds kind of magical. I should have looked at Danny DeVito's IMDb page.
You knew.
Is it Matilda?
It is not Matilda. This
Damn it.
is
Do I get a chance to steal?
Yeah. I won't give you a point, but you can guess.
Is that... Let's see. Is that...
I should get like a TikTok, like a boo doo doo doo.
Yeah, is that Batman Returns?
It is. That's the penguin. He's like,
Oswald Cobblepot.
he's like eating stuff, but it's all gross.
Yeah, and he's got
Steal
like
my point.
I'm gonna give Dillon. You can steal now.
Sure thing.
It's the penguin. Yeah.
Really?
Ah.
for real.
I need to brush up.
Don't lie.
Goodness.
All right, Dillon.
I'm ready. Okay. I would like to use the lifeline.
Do you want to call the audience? Do you want a 50-50? Do you want to call your dad?
How many things do we got left?
There are 8 total.
8 total?
Yeah.
I would like a 50-50.
Sure. That is either Aja by Steely Dan, or that is another Steely Dan song.
Let's say I don't know, Pretzel Logic, Dr. Wu, Glamour Profession, any of those. I'm gonna guess that it is Asia. By
All
Steely
right,
Dan.
Dillon 2, Sarah
I'm
0.
gonna be more specific. I'm gonna say it's right
not
before
doing very
Steve
well.
Gadd's drum solo.
All right, Sarah. Here is your Steely Daddy DeVino noise.
I think that is Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes. Do you know the episode number?
No, but
neither
he talked
do
about
I.
rum ham.
It's like the gang gets a rung ham or something.
It's a rum ham. Amazing. The gang
That's not
eats
what it's called.
pork.
All right, Dillon, here you go.
All right. I'm gonna use a lifeline.
Sure.
I would like to call my father.
Like to call your dad?
Let's roll.
All right.
Can we get your dad's full legal name?
My dad's name is Kurt Daniels.
Curtis
Let's get-
Wayne Daniel. No,
No, that's
No.
your dad.
my stepdad's middle name is Wayne.
Put him on speaker.
He's in the house and our mics.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey, Dad.
How's it going?
Good. You?
Pretty good.
Good. You're on the podcast right now.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So we're playing a game, and it's kind of like a sound effect guessing game. So Zach's going to play you a sound effect. Let me know if you can hear it, and we have to guess what it is.
Kurt, your son's about to win $1 million. There's a lot on the line here.
Regis Philbin is here. He's looking great.
I'd like to take out a loan if he wins it.
All right.
All right, you ready for the sound?
Yes.
All right.
The
What
phone
are we?
wasn't
I have
malfunctioning.
no idea.
What is it?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? Can you take a guess?
It's a dadly sound.
A dadly sound?
Dadly, not deadly.
Well, it could be deadly. You never know.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Yeah,
lawnmower. What about you?
Yeah, that could be.
All right.
Start with one more.
You want to lock it in?
Is that your final answer?
Sure. Yeah, that's my final answer.
You've just won $1 million, Dillon Daniels. That is the sound of a lawnmower.
You want to mark that point under me?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Damn it, I almost got a second point.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
Yep. Bye.
That was
My
so
dad,
wholesome.
ladies and gentlemen.
All right, 3-1, Sarah. Here is your Steely Daddy DeVito noise.
Need some help. I need to use a lifeline.
Sure, which one would you like to use?
Let's call Rob.
Let's call Rob.
Let's get Rob on the horn.
Get Rob on the
I need
line.
some help.
Hello?
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
It's Sarah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear us?
Absolutely. Oh, us. Who else is there?
Your mama.
Got him.
Mom. Is Max there too?
Oh, yeah. He's
Oh,
looking at
yeah. All right, Rob. I need your help. Let me give you the lowdown.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So, We're playing a guessing game, and the noise that you're about to hear through your phone is either a dad noise, a movie that or TV show, a movie or TV show that Danny DeVito is in, or something from Steely Dan. Do you think you can help me figure it out?
Oh boy, I will try. All right, give it a whirl.
All right.
All right, here you are, Rob.
That was it?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Would you like to hear it again?
Yes, please. God. Seriously, dude?
I know. I'm stumped too, man.
There's $1 million on the line here.
Rob, I could be a millionaire.
All right, I'm total shot in the dark. I'm gonna guess it's a noise Danny DeVito made from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Rob, I'll go with you. I think maybe Danny DeVito is causing some ruckus and dropping
Is
things.
that your final answer?
He's always doing crazy shit on that show.
And he's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right, is that your final answer?
I think so.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That is a sound from freesounds.org of a wrench clinking,
Damn it.
which is a very dadly sound.
Oh, Rob, we tried our best. Well, thank you for your help.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I had no idea either.
Wow, that was tough.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say on the pod before we let you go?
Oh, geez. After that show of embarrassment, I don't think so.
All right.
My dad card, I didn't know the tool.
It's all good.
Here, I'll send it to Craftsman tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to go study up.
All right. Have
All right.
fun.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Good job. Aw,
Give it up for
a
Rob.
real one.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, last one, Dillon.
All right.
You don't even have to guess if you don't
You'd
want.
have
The
to
score is
royally
3-1.
fuck up.
Can I hear it again? One more time.
I like this game. Let's just do a podcast with this game. Another one.
Do I get an extended play?
Sarah didn't get one.
Yeah.
What's my final lifeline?
You can ask the audience.
That's
That's it.
I'm gonna go Steely Dan. Final answer.
Do you know which song?
Dillon said, fuck the audience.
I can.
He said, I do not want your input.
I
It's
can.
the last one of the game.
And you've already won
had
in a
nothing to
landslide.
lose.
I want total victory. I am gonna give you an album, and that's about as specific as I can go. And I'm gonna gamble and say Katie lied.
No, that's Deacon Blues, which is just one of Sarah's songs.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So useless too.
I just didn't feel like
Damn
programming
that
more sounds
acoustic
in here.
guitar.
I should have gone second.
Well, thank you guys and you guys for playing Steely Daddy DeVito. My favorite name of a game I've come up with yet. We are going to take 5 and refill beers and come back with 2 more albums and a game.
I would like to take a moment and shout out Empirical Brewing for having us and supplying our pairings today
Yes.
and hosting this wonderful second live show.
I would also like to shout out the brewery cats that have been roaming around in this area while we record. They're very cute. I love them.
Cats.
Shout out to Raymond. Shout out to Vankman.
Hey, folks. While we're taking this little pee break / drink refill break, we want to give a big, huge, ginormous thank you to everyone who came out to our live show, and a huge thank you to Empirical Brewery for making this show possible. We encourage you, if you are a fan of nerdy beer-related content, to check out Empirical Brewery on Instagram at Empirical Brew, or to learn more about the beers we were drinking and all the other beers they offer, visit www.empiricalbrewery.com. If you are in Ravenswood, in Chicago, we cannot recommend this place enough. Or if you're in Chicago and you're looking to pick up a 6-pack for a barbecue, check out Empirical. It is fucking delicious. Now,
Back to the episode.
And we're back, folks. Thank you for
Class
sticking
is in
around.
session.
And we're back. Album ReBrews, a podcast already in progress.
I had the thought that for our audio listeners at home who didn't have the pleasure of being here live tonight, we should take a second to briefly describe how we look, what we're wearing.
Or if they're, yeah.
Who am I wearing?
Who are we wearing?
It's all Village Discount Outlet, baby, but the socks are Bagoo.
I'm wearing New Balance, New Balance A.
Give us the head to toe, Zach.
So it's a black hat. It says Dad Joke Loading, and there's one loading toward the end of the episode. I've been saving it.
Oh.
I'm wearing, this is my new signature pistachio. I wore this last episode, if you remember. It's a polo. And some good New Balances with one sock a little higher than the other.
Amazing.
Yeah, as one should.
Dylan, what are you wearing?
I am wearing a custom Givenchy suit, if that's how you pronounce that. No, actually, I'm wearing custom jorts made by yours truly. They are a little ripped on the right leg, and they will continue to be ripped throughout the podcast because they're a little too tight on the leg, to be honest.
And at the end of the show, he's going to rip them off.
Stick around.
If we hit 1,500 Patreon subscribers by the end of the month, I'll rip off my jorts. The undergarments are not to be disclosed. I'm wearing black socks with a gray toe and heel, and Ocean Pacific thong sandals.
I thought you were just gonna say
A
thong.
white undershirt tank top and a very light Hawaiian shirt.
It's a very Jimmy Buffett dad.
Yeah, it's a very vacation dad style.
Yeah.
It's got a red beach cruiser on it and some palm trees, and it says Bahamas all over it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fashion ReBrews. Sarah, what are you wearing?
Thank you so much for asking. So I am wearing a sort of dark green polo shirt emblazoned with it's hard to see from the crowd, but a subtle golf motif.
They're two golf clubs
All the
crossing. I
little
didn't even
X's
notice
are
that till
two
now.
golf clubs.
That's fantastic.
I am also wearing a classic pair of khaki shorts, as well as some olive green socks with strappy black foam sandals.
Love that.
And to top it all off, I am wearing some knockoff silver Oakley sunglasses from
the knockoff
Dollar
is
Tree. Ow! Ow!
Another quick shout out before we get into Sarah's pick. Big shout out, Ricky at the bar.
Come on, Ricky at the bar.
Take
Thank
care of
you,
Ricky tonight. He's
Ricky.
taking care of us.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Empirical Brewing for hosting and providing these parades.
And
So
the
good.
cats.
And the cats.
And the cats.
Mostly the cats.
That's really.
Shout out to the cats at home, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get back into it?
Let's do it.
So we were just fortunate enough to hear my stepdad Rob live on air. And when I reached out to Rob for his pick for this, I sort of said, hey, Rob, we're doing a live episode where we pit dad albums against each other. What will you pick? And I think he picked the album that he picked for two reasons. Number one, Rob rocks with the classics. And number two, he knew that this is a podcast where we drink. So he picked the 1977 album Asia by Steely Dan because of one of the lyrics in Deacon Blues, which is excuse me.
You've been drinking.
I've had 2 beers. Drink Scotch whiskey all night long. That is what he cited. So, as a pairing, I have the barrel-aged, let me make sure I get the name right, Pollinator Honey Lager. Try a little sippy.
Just tastes like bees.
I agree.
Yeah, I've had a mouthful of bees before, and
Tastes just
that's not what this tastes like. This tastes a lot better.
a lot more like beer.
A lot more like beer, less like bees, yeah.
It's a wheat ale, yeah? It's really,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
really light and nice.
Again, it's crisp, it's bright, it's refreshing.
You can get it here, folks.
I could listen to Home at Last and drink this all night long.
This is a good summer beer. This is probably the most summery beer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
Had on
kind
the
of had
episode.
Rob in mind picking this, not
Yeah.
only because of the barrel-aged
it's a silver
element,
album.
because of whiskey, but also because he's the kind of guy to like pull up an oldies station on his iPhone speaker and just set it down on a table while drinking whiskey lemonades outside.
Love that, Rob.
Fun fact about this album, came out the same day my niece was born.
Oh.
My niece is not that old. She's like less than a year old, but shout out
But
to Bethany.
September
Shout out
23rd.
Bethany. I thought you were talking about 1973. How old is your niece?
My niece is old.
I'd like to quickly cycle through this album's accolades. We are competing here, and I want this to be the Dadliest, not only the Dadliest, but also the most critically acclaimed album on the table today. We talk often about the Rolling Stone Top 500 albums. Would you two guess? This is on the list.
Oh, I believe it.
Would you guess what number it is out of 500? Closest gets a high five.
I bet it's in the top 250. Easy. I'm going to say 169. Nice.
Nice.
I am going to guess 46.
Oh.
Dillon, you're technically the closest. It's number 63.
Wow.
Top 100.
Nice.
It also was nominated for several Grammys, but won one Grammy for Best Engineering on an album. It was also one of the first albums in the United States to be certified platinum, meaning selling over 1 million copies. The album is called Asia, spelled A-J-A. And if we have any RuPaul's Drag Race watchers in the crowd, I thought it was pronounced Aja, like Aja LaBeija from Brooklyn, New York, voguing icon. It is not. It is pronounced like the continent, and it's named after the wife of a friend of the band.
Interesting. Did not know that.
The album art is actually erroneously credited to Phil Hartman of SNL fame.
Really?
Yes.
T.
Yep. Not so. Couldn't tell you who actually made it. I forgot.
I should be able to tell you, but I can't. So I don't know how much you guys know about Steely Dan.
A lot.
But I knew
Sorry.
I knew very little going into this. I don't know why. I have nothing against them. I just didn't know very much. But I learned very quickly that Steely Dan is very much like a session studio band. And there was an insane roster of, count them, 34 different musicians, not counting the 2 founding members, Don Fagen and Walter Becker, who came in and helped on this album. And it was just like this crazy process. They made a documentary about the making of the album, and they just kind of like cycled in all these fucking virtuoso folks. And I mean, we'll talk about like in the case of there was a guitar solo. Oh, in Peg, they had several people, like several really acclaimed guitarists come in, and they were like, we know we want a guitar solo here, and we want someone to come in and play a really good guitar solo. And then this person did it, and they were like, nah. And
They
then
got
this person
Danny
did it.
DeVito to do it.
No,
Yes,
they
Danny
asked
DeVito to do it, and then they were like, that's
Denny
not-
Diaz. Denny Diaz, very close.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
They look the same.
The original guitarist, and they told him, no, we don't want that.
Yeah. In the documentary, you actually see them like playing the stems, sort of the groove that the guitar solo goes over. And they played this first guitar solo, and they're like, and that wasn't right, clearly. I'm like, damn, I thought that was a really good guitar solo. And then they play a second one, and they're like, yeah, and clearly that one wasn't right. And I'm like, damn, okay. And then they play, well, I mean, we'll get to it. What I'm trying to say here is this album was insanely meticulously crafted. Fagen and Becker in the studio are like perfectionist madmen, and they were really relying on all these studio musicians to come in, be able to sight read for the gods, and turn it out. And turn it out they did.
Nice.
So I first want to talk about the title track, Asia. Something about Steely Dan that I also learned is like their songs aren't really autobiographical. They're not really based in personal experience, anything like that. more so they just like to write shit about imaginary people, usually kind of people who are not very high up in society. And so Asia is just kind of about like some dude who is in love with a beautiful woman named Asia.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, it's as simple as that.
Want to hear it?
I would love, well, actually, to set up this soundbite, we have some icons on this track, including Wayne Shorter, who was a former saxophonist for Miles Davis, as well as Steve Gadd, who is an iconic studio drummer.
Fun
The drum solo, I mean, I don't think we hear the drum solo in this clip, but there were only 2 takes for the drum solo that were just kind of like melded together.
And I think they used the first take on this. Fun fact about Steve Gadd. I've been in the same room as him. Did I talk to him? No, because I was too scared and peeing in my pants.
I would too, dang. Maybe he'll hear this.
I would also say, before we set up this clip, that this album was admitted in 2011 to the Library of Congress because they said it had like significant cultural impact. And the sax solo that we're about to hear, played by Wayne Shorter, was cited as a highlight when it was going into the Library of Congress.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So let's freaking get into it. Kidding me?
Steve, calm down.
Hang in there, buddy.
They brought his ass in and they were like, here's a fucking 12 bar where we want you to play saxophone. And he turned it out.
You killed it.
The next song I want to talk about.
Before you do, can I just comment on how cool of a Dadly album this is?
Yeah.
Like, this is, it's from Duke Silver, from...
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. This is like a Duke Silver Dad album. It's so chill. I love it. Okay, continue.
So we each were sort of tasked with picking 3 songs we wanted to talk about because covering an entire album in like 10 minutes is an insane task. So I just picked like these 3 sequential tracks. The next one is Deacon Blues. Which is also the reason Rob picked this album, Drink Scotch Whiskey All Night Long.
And
What's
die behind the wheel.
Is the next
Album ReBrews does not condone drinking and driving.
We do not condone. Yeah. So the song isn't from personal experience.
They wrote this about another guy.
They wrote this about just like some fucking loser.
Some schlub.
Literally, like, I think it was
wet,
Becker who
drunk
said this guy
guy
is like a capital L loser.
Dang.
And
Is
it's
his name
just-
Deacon?
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Deacon came from, there was like a football player, I think his name was like Deacon Jones or something. And they were like, we like the way that name sounds. And then they were also looking at like the Alabama football team squad, which is called the Crimson Tide. And they were like, Crimson Tide is so grandiose. What do we call the losers? Deacon Blues.
Okay.
Even the choice of like deacon, I think, is funny. The definition is like an ordained minister who is below a priest. So it's like a guy who's like done this shit, but he doesn't quite get like the highest ranking.
He might get the blues, right?
He might get
He's
the
like, I don't
blues.
get as big a hat as the guy ahead of me.
I know.
Yeah,
He
that
gets a
might bum
little
me out.
hat.
Yeah, a little hat.
And it's just sort of this like, it's from the perspective of this suburban guy who just like dreams of playing the saxophone. He just wants to play the saxophone so fucking bad. And it's just this glitzy, glimmery, like groovy ass midlife crisis song. And something about it just makes you want to like shake your little butt and also have a midlife crisis. So let's listen to it.
So useless to ask me why. Throw a kiss and say goodbye. I'll make it this time.
karaoke next time.
Yeah.
Scotch whiskey.
all night long and die behind the wheel. They got
I like the. Just, it goes from 0 to 100 real
0 to
quick.
100. Just like, I want to play the saxophone and I want to die in a gruesome car crash. That is the 2 things on my list. Let's get it done.
Fucked up to-do list. And
And he's just
Get me a saxophone.
it's so fun to listen to.
I want to
Because
play a
I'll do the
251
dishes.
and crash into a ditch.
I'll listen to this song and I'm like, and die. Like, I'm
Yeah, it's
living.
ecstatic. Yeah, like when I first like started getting into Steely Dan, that sounds so pretentious when I say it, but like this was one of the this is like one of the gateway songs I feel like for most people getting into Steely Dan, and it's very odd because it's like I'm a schlub who wants just a shred of recognition, but then I'm gonna die because I'm too drunk to drive.
0 to 100.
Yeah.
Literally. If you're drinking and going fast enough. And then there's a third song. Want to talk about it? Yes, sir?
There sure freaking is. Holy shit, this song is so catchy. It's called Peg. Peg is one of my favorite things about Steely Dan. When I was like reading about this album, 99.9% of the time when people ask like, hey, what's the significance of this lyric? Like, why did you choose this? They're like, I don't know. We wanted a name that was 2 syllables. Like, they're like, I don't know. It fit with the song. Like, there's no significance. People were speculating. They're like, is it this famous Peg? They're like, no, we just needed a girl name.
Well, I think they like ruined themselves with Ricky because there is an actual Ricky that shouldn't lose that number. So they set themselves up.
They got one too many cease and desists. They're like, we need to start writing about fictional people.
Yeah.
So Peg. Again, there isn't a ton of like significance to the lyrics of this song. It's just so fun to listen to. And I think this song is also really cool because it sounds super effortless. It's like light, it's breezy. It's kind of like this like jazz pop kind of fusion. It's so fun to listen to. I think you could put it on for almost any person and they'd be like, this is Steely Dan? This rips,
This is a
dude.
bop.
Steely Dan does rip.
Steely Dan rips.
Be ripping.
I said it on air. But it took an insane amount of
can't
time
take
in
it
the
back.
studio, too.
Can't edit that out. It's permanent in the file.
I mean, we
It's
can.
fine. I'll be on record.
We did it live, so they'll never unhear it.
True.
True.
I'm in your memories.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned before, there were like several guitar solos that were rejected. There were like several hours spent in the studio just like perfecting it. And then we just get this fun ass song.
Let's hear it.
It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I love you better. Hey, we'll come back to you. Hey, we'll come back to you. Then the sugar falls, you see it all.
I'm so sad I faded that out. Like we should just do that the rest of the show.
I hope we added it to our dad barbecue playlist
I
that
hope
we
it's in
have
there,
been
yeah.
playing.
We'll
should
cue that
be.
up next.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael McDonald for those background vocals.
Oh my God, I forgot
the
to mention.
king
Yeah.
of background vocals.
Michael freaking McDonald.
Old
It's-
triangle mouth himself. When he sings, his mouth makes like an inverted triangle like that.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's like an Illuminati thing, I think.
Oh.
I'm just putting it out there.
before they turn your mouth into a triangle.
Before you can't form. Oh,
Very good. Any closing statements, Sarah, for why this is the most dadly album?
Yes, I have 2 thoughts. My first thought is something I noticed listening to this album as a Steely Dan newbie was it sounds really polished, but at first listen, if you don't like have to prep for a podcast, if you're not researching.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound pretentious. It sounds really fun to listen to. I think it's something that you could like put on and most people would be happy with it.
Yeah.
Sort of in that vein, I think this is the Dadliest album here today because it's good for a variety of dads. It's good on the barbecue. It's good on a road trip.
Absolutely.
It's good on a fishing trip.
It's good in like a speakeasy with like a fancy cocktail.
Yeah, but also if you have a dad who's having a midlife crisis and getting into like being an audiophile, put it on his nice ass stereo system
Yes.
and tell him about all the takes it took to get the guitar solo right, and he'll love it.
That is very dadly.
I rest my case.
A dadly pick. A
Shout
dadly
out
pick.
Bernard Perney.
Well done, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Shout out Chuck Rainey. Shout out Home at Last.
You ready for our third game of the night?
Yeah,
Dylan?
let's do it. So I have a fun game. I am playing a game called Yacht Rock or Rockin' Yacht, or there's a third category, a mystery category called Not.
That's not on our list here, Dylan. We
That's
printed
not
off.
on
It's
our
not.
list?
It's not.
I fooled you.
We printed this, and it's not on here.
Yeah, we didn't put it on the itinerary, but there is one that is not a Rockin' Yacht, and it's not Yacht Rock.
Rule of thirds.
Rule of thirds.
Beautiful. So it's either what are the three options? Mystery option, and then two other options, right?
Mystery option, yacht or yacht rock.
Okay.
Okay, can I borrow a pen?
The name of a real yacht.
The name of a yacht may be fictional or real. All right.
Are we on a team or are we enemies?
You are bitter rivals.
Okay, so usual.
All right, we're going to start off with an easy one. We're going to go Silk Degrees.
Who's going first?
Either you can buzz in.
Oh, we buzz.
Oh.
I buzz. What's the? Oh, hold on.
Sure.
Okay. All right, we're ready.
All right, Silk Degrees. Yes, Sarah.
I think that is Yacht Rock.
Sarah, you would be correct. Can you name what it is? An album, artist, or song?
Silk Degrees sounds like the name of a song.
Okay. It is an album by Boz Scaggs, the least appealing
shoulda known.
name. Boz Scaggs is known for hits such as Lowdown.
My sound's gonna be this one.
All right.
Perfect.
Zach is on the brass, Sarah is on the air horns.
Yes.
You're crossing streams there on the pad. just a little insight into our
content
setup here. All right. Second is Endless Summer.
I
Zach.
think that is a yacht.
Zach, you would be correct. That is a yacht.
So,
All right.
some rich dude out there was like, I don't work for a living. Endless summer.
All right, so you're batting like 250 in the minors, so they're going to bring you up to the majors, so this is where it gets a little bit harder.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're going to go Escape. Is that a yacht rock or a rockin' yacht?
If she gets it wrong, can I steal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah.
I feel like Escape could be the name of a yacht.
Zach, do you want to steal?
Damn.
I think that is third option, and that's just what some of our audience members want to do right now.
Damn it, Zach. Damn it, Zach. You're not supposed to
You
give
guys
them
look
that
like
option.
you're having a good time.
Zach, you're actually wrong on this one. It is both a yacht and a song. Escape.
Can I get a half point?
Escape is actually the proper title of the Pina Colada song.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. That is a fun.
Rupert Holmes.
Chris
All
Skinner
right.
was hopping out of his damn pants trying to answer that one.
All right.
Shout out Chris Skinner.
Shout out, Chris.
Abandoned Luncheonette. Zach?
I think that is yacht rock.
That is correct. Can you
Damn.
can you tell me what that is?
Let's just say Jimmy Buffett.
No. You're wrong. You fool.
Steely Dan?
No. That is an album by Hall & Oates.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Number next. Return Upon the Tide. Sarah.
That's a boat, baby.
Incorrect. Zach, can you steal?
Yeah, rock, right?
No, Zach. Return Upon the Tide is a card from the Kaldheim expansion of Magic the Gathering.
I should know that.
All right.
Damn.
Are all the third options Magic the Gathering?
Actually,
themed?
no.
I would be very happy if they were.
One final tiebreaker. We're 2-2.
2-2.
2-2. A bear in Magic the Gathering terms. Pretzel Logic. Sarah?
That is a Steely Dan album.
You are correct.
Yeah, well done.
I read their Wikipedia page.
Well done, Sarah. Well done.
Sarah wins. Yacht rock. Rockin' your yacht or not.
Very good.
Congratulations.
I would like to thank not only my co-hosts up here on the table, and not only God, but also Jesus. And the audience.
And the audience. And Empirical Brewing.
and Ricky.
Damn, audience is irate.
And my cats. Franklin and Sam.
Cat.
Aw.
And Moose.
Meow,
And
meow, meow,
Roscoe,
meow.
I guess.
Yeah, and Roscoe.
Happy Father's Day.
All right, guys, we've made it to the last segment of our show. We're going to talk about my dad's album, Quadrophenia, and this is a rock opera. It really was out of left field. I called my dad, and he was always a Pink Floyd guy. He had like a giant Dark Side of the Moon, like wooden, carved, beautiful. I don't know how much it cost. On his office wall all growing up, but he's like, no, it's the Who. It's the Who, Quadrophenia.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What does quadrophenia mean?
Quadrophenia is another word for schizophrenia, but it's specifically including multiple personality of 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes
and
sense.
So
Odd, yeah.
the lead, the main character of this rock opera is Jimmy, and he's got 3 other personalities in his head, which is why I choose this beer, because it's got 3 different types of oats.
We'll take
There we go.
We'll take that. It's also a very dark beer, very much like this album.
I can't see through it.
I cannot see through it.
I can see it going in
Let's taste
to
it real
my
fast,
mouth
I'll
and
keep
belly.
going. Yeah. Cheers. That is very good. I forget the name of this beer already. Someone help me out.
It is called Singularity.
Singularity, which is the point in black hole where you divide by 0. So very nerdy and very cool and very dark, like this
Why
album.
do you do math in a black hole? Wouldn't you be more concerned with like?
So if you
getting
type
in?
10 divide by 0, you actually create a black hole in your calculator.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how I broke so many fucking calculators.
I was going to say that's the only place you can divide by 0. Is when you're getting
Really
ripped
careful, 'cause those
apart
types of
infinitely.
instruments are expensive.
Yeah.
You just turn them into black holes. So this is a really dark album, but also kind of a party album. Jimmy is like on drugs a lot of this album, and like just partying and having 4 personalities, which are each personality is a different member of the Who, which is kind of cool.
So I was looking at the album art, and there's like a figure on a motorcycle, and then there's like 4 like right-hand mirrors, and then it's the faces of all the members of the Who reflected in the mirrors. So that makes sense.
That's kind of, the imagery there. And so I'll talk about this first song. Hello, and welcome to Zach's ASMR Hour. I want you guys to just close your eyes and just relax for a moment. Listen to the sound of the sea. No, I'm just kidding. This album starts with like 2.5 minutes of just this.
It's an overture.
Yeah.
It's an overture of the whole album, because you got Roger Daltrey going,
Yeah, it's great.
right in the background.
And that's a motif. You hear that like 7 times throughout the album. It's so
the finale of the album. Sorry, I just wanted to do that.
That was great. We'll do it again too. Karaoke night. It's so good. And so he actually recorded that like at the beach and put it in the album. So that's great. So there's like it's a whole rock opera. There's 17 songs on this album, and I am not gonna tell you guys the plot of it because that would be very boring and long, and I'm going to talk about other stuff instead, and you have to go home and listen to it and figure it out.
You watched the accompanying film, right?
I watched a little bit of it.
Is Sting in it?
So one of the best scenes is Sting is dancing to Louie Louie, and he's like, just like, and it's like not good. It's really funny. So yeah, Sting's in it, and it's about Jimmy like going through life. At this time in England, there were these two opposing factions. What would you call them? Gangs?
I think in the album they're referred to mods and punks, correct?
Yes, yeah, and they would like get in fights. It's very like Sharks and the Jets type of deal, yeah.
I mean, there were two different like factions of like expression through musical culture. So you had like the mods coming out of the 60s, like...
And they were a little more dressed up.
Yeah,
they rode different bikes.
Yeah, with the Yardbirds and like those kind of groups like coming out of like the Summer of Love and all that. And then you had like the punks, kind of like
the rockers. Yeah,
yeah,
who were a little more
counterbalance to that movement, right?
Yeah, so that's like a really interesting. There's a lot of like social commentary on this album about the working class, and then there's also like party stuff.
Sounds like college.
Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is a little bit about the sonic quality of this album. And I was expecting like AC/DC or Europe rock, like I don't know. But like this is very beautifully crafted symphony orchestra on some of this.
Feels theatrical.
It's really theatrical. It's really like listen to this. It's like this is the title track Quadrophenia, and it's an instrumental. Another cool thing about this track is it just like builds like that and never resolves, kind of hinting at like the quadrophenia, the schizophrenia, like just leaving you really uneasy. Mm-hmm. The whole 4 minutes never lands somewhere good. And I just imagine my dad in like 1975, like being baked, and when when he told me about this album, they had just came out with the. Cameron, what's it called where they have 4 speakers? It's like stereo, but there's 4 of them. Quadrophenic sound. Thank you, David.
Dave, you're so smart. Thanks, Dave.
And so he had this on tape for that, and I just imagine him being baked, like listening to this. That just
Shedding
feels
a single tear.
Yeah, just like that feels like a very dadly moment, and that's I think that adds to the dadliness of the album. And then the next track I want to talk about, I'm actually mad at this track, and I'll tell you guys why.
Yeah.
So it's called the 515. This is the point in the storyline where Jimmy has something bad has just happened. His girlfriend, or he's crashed a scooter, which is a real thing that happens, and he's now on the 515 to go to like a party, the 515 train, and he is baked. He's out of his brain on a train.
Relatable.
Yeah, on the blue line. We've all been there. You guys ever threw up on the blue line? Where's the air horn?
Not me. I'm not from here.
The song is called 515, but it's only 5 minutes long.
Yeah, that's something. I listened to the album like at an ungodly hour, like yesterday morning at like 4 or 5 a.m. just like in prep for this, and I was like, wait a minute.
And the outro, he just sings very well out of my brain on a train for like 2 minutes. He could have added 15 more seconds. This is how long 15 seconds is.
No, it's not. Washington Post, March.
That's so easy. You could have added that.
Yeah.
You could just go like into the mic.
Anyways, here's the outro that he should have done for 15 seconds longer. actually going to loop that for another 15 seconds just so I feel better.
I would love 15 more seconds of that.
15 more seconds, that would be fine.
Easy.
I'm going to write someone an angry email.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Entwistle, the bass player for The Who.
Oh, yeah.
I think he earns the name Thunderfingers because just like the bass is just mixed so
he just kills it the whole time.
prominently. And it's just like digging bass that's just like, I don't know, there's nothing in comparison. It's like a funk bass line, but in a rock band, just like very prominent.
Yeah. Killer bass player.
Something that I wanted to comment on is I forget what track it is, but there's I'm stuttering while saying this, but there's a line in a song that's saying like I'm just like a stuttering teen, and then they go into like Pete Townsend has this high vocal that's like my generation.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like a callback to
to my generation.
Yeah.
'Cause this came out right after Who's Next.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That is a massive lead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is their third rock opera.
I did not
and
know
I think
that.
they've perfected it by now.
Yeah. So did Tommy, like, all that come out before this?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes? Thank you, Dave.
Dave, you're so smart.
Dave knows.
Dave, our resident Who expert.
So yeah, I think sonically this is the most dad sounding album, just because it's so. It's just that good rock and roll. It's that good dad
very
rock.
Dadly.
Yeah, I feel if
dad
you
rock.
sat down the average dad and said, this is a Who album, enjoy it, they would.
The average dad would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. If you didn't know it was a rock opera.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 dads enjoy this sound. Oh. These buttons are new. I haven't done it yet. Yeah. Also, my dad's older than your dad's, and so I think seniority. Also, he's had longer time to think about it. Yeah, so that maybe makes it a more dadly record.
I've only met your dad twice, and one of them, he was like, you want to know why you go to Jupiter? I don't know. We were talking about like interplanar travel and like having a lot of big brain thoughts.
Give it some zoom out a little.
Wait.
What
No.
have you just done,
Was
Dillon?
it
No,
to get more
I'm
stupider?
not going to incriminate myself.
We were in Colorado. It was legal.
Anyway, we were talking about space travel and
Yes.
just like kind of like expanding Earth's domain on the solar system. And he was like, yeah, you want to know why we'd go to Jupiter? And we're like, oh, yeah, expecting like an earnest answer. And he's like, to get more stupider.
Which is a prime dad
Which is
joke.
like top 10. Like he waited. He patiently waited. Hi, Mark.
He knows how to build up. Yeah, he's going to listen to this.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark.
All right, so we've presented. Do we want to do closing statements, or do you just want to vote?
Cameron, would you come up here to make sure we're not biased in our delivery
yeah.
and facilitate the voting?
Vote.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Give
Cameron
it up
Bopp.
for Cameron Bopp. Yep. Live your dream.
Everybody. You've heard the closing statements. You've heard the albums. Now we need to know, by a show of applause, who had the Dadliest album. So number one, who went first? We had Dillon. Dillon and his album.
The Cars by The Cars.
Let's hear
Song
it.
of the summer, The Cars.
Did he have the Dadliest album?
Lightning McQueen.
All right. Next, Sarah had Asia by Steely Dan. By show of applause, was that the Dadliest album?
All right.
And last, we had Quadrophenia from Zach by The Who. Did he have the Dadliest album? That's a tough one. You're the judge. We're going to have to check again. We're going to have to do it over. Sorry, Dillon, you've been knocked out.
Rest in peace.
We need to hear it one more time, even louder, for Sarah's album, Asia by Steely Dan. Let me hear it. And now, Quadrophenia by The Who. Let me hear it. That's got to go to Steely Dan, baby.
The Dan wins.
Well done, Sarah. She won twice in a row.
Shit.
Dillon, we gotta get our shit together.
We got to do a third live show.
Will I break the streak?
Find out
Who's
next
to say?
time. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Sarah and Zach for having me on again because I obviously did not embarrass myself enough the last time.
Thank you, Dillon. You're a ringer. We bring you in every live show.
Thank you.
We are Album ReBrews, and we will continue being Album ReBrews. If you want to check us out on Twitter and Instagram, we are at Album ReBrews. And if you want to take a look at our website, it is www.albumrebrews.com.
A giant dad-size hug. Thank you to Cameron Bopp, our editor. Shout out for Cameron. Give it to him. Yeah! And live show engineer. Check him out at Cam Bopp on Twitch. He needs to stream more Dark Souls so I can Dark Souls coach him. If you like the show or liked the live show, take a photo, tag us in it, or tell your friends about it. We love that. And a giant thanks to Dillon for coming on.
Thank you.
Finally, thank you so much to Empirical Brewing for having us here and letting us fart around for a couple hours. This was so fun. If you are in the neighborhood, come have a beer. You're not going to regret it. It's delicious.
It's a great spot.
Everything we drank up here today was fantastic.
So
I am a very happy customer.
And let me reiterate, there are cats in the brewery.
There are cats.
Multiple. That's cats with an S, but without the connotations of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical.
Can we have the audience say goodbye?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to hold my mic out to you guys. What we do at the end of every episode is we very tenderly whisper. And I guess you're a little far from the mic, so
Like a hefty whisper.
we'll count down 3, 2, 1. A stage whisper.
Stage whisper.
We're going to have you say goodbye to the folks listening at home, all right?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Mustard.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.